And we are live. Oh man, welcome you guys. We have had a busy week. And I was just thinking about this song, babe. I know you're just sitting down. Because I've heard this song more in the last week than I've heard it ever.
Really?
Because I sang it the other day at the Christmas party. And then I'm like, well, I know this song. And then I turned around and did it another time. But it comes on all the time. It's like when you buy a car and you sit on the road now before you didn't ever see it. It's kind of like our house. I'm going to talk to
the color. You know, especially a car with this color. And you ain't never seen one that color before. You thought you was getting something original. And it's 1,000 of them out there.
Yes. And look, we have to talk to the Oars and welcome you guys. Tonight is our part 2 of our Godfidence with the Oars. That's Shardae and Emmett. And I'm going to talk to them about, decorating a little bit too, because, we got this. In fact, we're going to have to invite Shardae and Emmett over because we've got sort of that same idea vibe. We told them that we moved and we got a nice black, or I shouldn't say black, caviar. It is caviar. It's not black. It's caviar. So we've got a nice outside look, but I'm digging some things that I saw as I was watching their YouTube video this past week, or today actually, and I'm liking this whole. It's like now when I drive around, I'm seeing all these black houses. I used to see all the white houses, and now I see all the black and the house with the white and the black trim. But now I'm seeing a ton of black houses. So what's up, Gwen? What's up, everybody? As you guys are joining in, it is, oh my gosh, the mid part of December.
Yes.
And the week is going by so fast, baby. Let's just talk about real quick. What did we do this week?
Because I want her to get, I guess, on as soon as possible. But look, one thing I really enjoyed this weekend, first of all, I had Saturday to me and my wife, my wife and I.
Oh, yeah, we did.
We did all our Christmas shopping, 90% of it. We said we're going to do it all in one day. We shopped till we dropped, literally. Both of us was just finished. We stopped and got some food, and we didn't even want to eat. So
yeah, I'm sorry.
And Sunday we went to church. This is my part. Sunday we went to church, and then after church we went out and grabbed something to eat, and we went to Georgia Tech and saw Black Nativity. Oh my God, they took us to church. I mean, the second song, I had tears in my eyes. It was just they were singing. Singing, all of them. I mean, it was just such a great production and excellence. The voices was incredible. It was just a great experience. And we had our friends Norma and Rick Hayes, Rick, and my buddy Rick, and we had dinner at Man's, and it was really, really good. Yeah. And we got home about 9 o'clock.
From the time we left church to the time we got home, that's
a full day.
But
it was enjoyable.
I went to Oklahoma this past week. Took a flight one day in. Had to drive an hour and a half to the hotel. Sang at their corporate event, and then got back on the airplane and made it to my own Christmas party for my job. So, but anyway, it is 6:02. What is going on? Oasis. They got Oasis. Oh, and then I went to the Oasis Christmas party with my mom. They call themselves trying to do conversations or asking people to stand up by their age. And so when they got to my age was kind of like before they do kind of include my age into the Oasis bracket. I wouldn't stand up, baby. I was like, absolutely not. I'm not in Oasis. And Fuller would not go with me, you guys. He wouldn't even go. And you in the age bracket.
I was gone all day.
But you were supposed to go with me to Oasis. Not because you're in Oasis, but because we were going.
Well, I spent the day with my son, and I don't get opportunity to spend much time with my 2 boys. So
we were supposed to go with you guys. That was okay. Yes, I just didn't. I had already bought tickets, but the event was good. And so, look, it is 6:03 Eastern Standard Time, and so I gotta pop in our guest. Babe, did you enjoy our conversation last week with the Oars?
So much so I can't wait to get them on now.
Okay, so I think that it's just a way of saying, shut up your mouth, Darlene, and have our guests come on live.
I'm just throwing a little shade, a little clowning, I'm just I didn't have no muzzlers, so I couldn't put the muzzle on it.
He be doing
So-
I'll be trying to be the host, a little bit of the host. And so, well, welcome you guys again.
Thanks for having us back.
You're very welcome.
I really, really enjoyed last week, and it's really been on my mind all week, and just really just impressed with you guys as a couple. Again, I know everything ain't perfect, but man, y'all make it work. And it looks good on y'all. I mean, marriage look good on both of you. Yeah. And EJ, I think y'all are a great couple. I think you helped Shardae so much in settling down and orderly. but
he's gonna get to this part, but
Shardae, you brought the real Emmett out. He was hiding all the time. He was a little guy hiding inside, and you brought him forefront. And I love this, EJ.
So let me ask you a question. Since
Me
you
too.
brought up,
So what?
Said me too.
Right. Okay.
so EJ, tell our studio audience, are you a shy person? Were you shy before meeting Shardae?
I'm reserved.
Right.
So I guess you can't say I'm not shy. I'm just reserved. So
okay.
Right.
My personality is for those who I know. If I don't know you, I kind of like get to know you first. So.
Okay. Because Fuller said that he was like, EJ was really quiet, and this Shardae done brought out a whole other level.
Yeah. I've never met a stranger, so there's
That's
that.
true.
Yeah, likewise.
Are you guys, do you think you're opposite in a lot of ways?
Yeah.
Or similar?
We're opposite in a lot of ways.
Opposite in a lot of ways. But we have the same morals and values.
Yeah. Same morals.
Yeah.
So where Shardae is very talkative and doesn't meet a stranger, you would be more reserved, EJ.
Yeah, I'm a whole lot better now.
Okay.
You know, because it's just part of life. You got to network. You got to get to know people.
Yeah.
So I'm a whole lot better, but I still depend on her to
break the ice.
The social butterfly.
Yeah.
Well, you heard me say all the time, everything happened at the speed of relationship.
Yeah.
So if you were going to make it work, you got to relate to people, man.
Yeah. I will tell you this, similar to you guys, and I know that nobody would ever believe this, but I was quite shy growing up, and I was probably a little bit like I was, and I still am in a big room of people. I'm not going to be the person to talk. In fact, I would probably stand back, and Fuller would maybe be the person that most people would recognize and talk to. But I've always been shy. I've never been the person, and so it's good to see, how you guys balance out each other. You look good too. And so, but I will say today, if you guys have not gotten a chance, I posted on Fuller's page the link to watch what today's title is of GodFidence episode 16. This is part 2. Is My Husband Saved My Life. And I thought that was so fitting. Last week we were just chatting it up, but this week I was just looking for a picture of Shardae and Emmett for the broadcast, and I run across their YouTube special. It is a special lifetime. It's a lifetime special. You guys gotta go see the show. It's so good.
It'd be called Tyler Perry.
I mean, my God, that was lifetime in its making, but it was so good. Who came up? I already know the answer. Who came up with the idea to film the whole journey?
Yeah, that was
that's so good.
It is. Shardae, why was that important for you?
It's so interesting. One of my best friends, her name is Carmen. I could feel you looking at me, but you looking at me. One of my best friends, her name is Carmen. There was like a point when I was just like, I just don't know how God gonna do it, but He gonna do it. He got to do something. Da, 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 da. And she was like, well, the testimony will be televised. And I was like, I don't know about that. And I felt like God just prompting me to share. And I feel like a lot of people don't share the testimony until they're like on the other side of the test part.
Exactly.
But God kept telling me to share in real time. And I was like, okay. And so I kind of initially titled the series Healing in Real Time. And I started sharing content before I knew that Emmett was my donor. So it was really interesting because when I started sharing, a lot of people weren't watching. It was maybe like my closest friends, but I felt like it was more so for me to really see like my personal journey throughout the process.
Yeah,
So
it was quite emotional from the time that you were at home. Well, it started, of course. Shardae is sitting in her bedroom, which is caviar. It is so exquisite. It's very charming. Emmett, I don't know who came up with that concept.
That was all me.
Right.
Yeah.
So Emmett, that's why I say you and I are a lot of like, I don't know where this black house has come from. The black bedroom came from, but it is quite, it is very unique, and it's very warm, and it says a lot about the person that put that together. But I was watching Shardae. She's starting out with the prayer call with her friend, and but then it pops into when you're in the living room, and then you get this package.
Yeah.
And the package, as she opens it up,
I saw that part.
It's got a yellow box. And in the yellow box, she begins, Shardae is like, I'm telling you, this is some Lifetime stuff, you guys. Y'all gotta go watch it. So she opens up the box, and there's these sunflower gift.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is it soap? Is it look fully talking about ladies, y'all know we got to do the whole thing. We got to go line by line and get the whole thing.
Break it down.
Yes, everything is so important. And so, but I love that Emmett listened. Men, ladies, listen to your spouses when they say certain things, and that you listened, Emmett, and that you brought her comfort before the journey began. I mean, the journey had already started, right? But just opening up the box and seeing Shardae's reaction, and then now you flipped in and you're now going into the hospital. I think I got a little emotional because I was thinking, wow, we're doing the countdown, and I'm like getting nervous. I'm getting nervous. I don't know why I'm not nervous. I'm like, Shardae's on the bed. Emma's on the bed. How do they feel? What are you feeling during this time? Because Emmett, you've already said last broadcast, if you guys didn't watch part 1 of Godfidence, you gotta go back and watch last week. Because Emmett said he was not the person that was going to do the donor.
Jumping for joy.
No.
He was not the donor. Somebody else. Call your brothers. Call somebody, but not me.
Choose somebody. Pick somebody else. How are you feeling?
Feeling the day of?
Yeah.
I really didn't feel any kind of way. Like I wasn't nervous or anything.
Really?
No, I just had in my mind, like I just trust God so much that everything's gonna go well. And I was like, if all else fails, I'm saved and I can go to heaven.
Wow.
I mean, honestly, I put trust in God so much that I didn't have a worry at all.
You were just so quiet though.
Yeah,
I felt like you were really quiet. You weren't talking. You were like in your head.
I was in my head, but I was also remembering where the word says to cast all my cares upon you so that I can care for you. So I was like, I'm not gonna worry, I'm not gonna care, I'm not gonna get anxious. I just trust that everything is happening how it's supposed to.
Yeah. I think the funniest part of surgery day for me is one of the things that we talked about a little bit, but not a lot, was what we wanted the day of surgery. And Emmett was very adamant about wanting an older surgeon. Yeah. He was like, I want an older surgeon. I want somebody who done 100 surgeries before. And I was like, I want a young surgeon. I want somebody who, he just got out of school. He know all the things. He just read the book.
I'm with you, Emmett. No.
So my doctor had performed over 800 kidney transplants.
Yeah. Wow. And my doctor was young. He was like in his 40s.
I want Emmett's doctor.
Yes.
How was you, Emmett?
So I felt
how was you the night before? How were you the night before?
Yeah.
I think the night before we were both kind of we were both thinking about all the things you have to do because you have to take a special kind of shower. You're gonna use a certain type of soap.
Yeah.
You gotta be there at a certain time. I think we had to be there like 5 a.m., which means it would be up at 3:30, 4 o'clock. So
you had to pack specific things.
Yeah. So I think more so worrying about
don't forget anything.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we're also welcoming people into our house. So my mom came in the day before. So she was getting settled. His mom and his sister came the morning of. So we were making sure like that the home was pretty much ready for them to be there, even while we weren't there, because we would be in the hospital and we assumed they would come home, which they really didn't. They stayed in the hospital pretty much the entire time. But
so you each got boxes from pre-op boxes from the hospital sent to you, right?
Yeah, we they gave us these bags with like a breathing tube, and you have to breathe a certain amount of times every hour into the tube. Just other little ancillary things that they gave us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But like socks, for me, I had like a lot of compression socks, different things, and then just a really detailed list of what to use on your body and what not to use. But and then the night before, we also had prayer, which was a shock to us. 2 of our friends set up a prayer, and they called everyone that they knew. So there were some people who were left off of said call, and we apologize for that. But we had a prayer. Our pastor prayed for us and over us, and that was really special. So yeah.
So what are the doctors? This is for because I'm sure somebody's watching this that knows someone, or maybe even themselves have gone through, maybe even something similar as it relates to kidney and that's fine. And just I'm a donor, organ donor, and so I'm curious to know what do the doctors tell you this process is going to be like? I mean, because I was trying to imagine you guys were in surgery or heading to surgery, but it seemed so seamless, and I know it wasn't because I watched Emmett, who was out cold. And I don't know who that was trying to wake you up, Emmett.
Yeah, that's my mom.
Emmett.
Yeah.
Emmett.
Yeah.
You all right?
That was a good sleep from anesthesia.
Oh my goodness.
Look, but so what do they tell you? I mean, because none of us were in the initial conversations because y'all are pretty cool with it, and I know everything looks. And this is what you were saying last week, Shardae. People, they just look at you, they look at me, they look at Fuller, and they think that life has just been so great. And life is not always easy like we make it look. Now, this is post surgery, but before that, the doctors are saying certain things, and they got to go in and they've got to cut and taking out your organ. And then you're taking out one of your organs, your organ, and then replacing it. And so the functioning of these organs now getting into your body, Shardae, Emmett, without the other kidney, it's like, what do they say to you to prepare you mentally for what's happening?
It was different for both of us. You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
I'll say for me, leading up to surgery, the things that they were telling me were things that I think in a person who doesn't have a relationship with God could instill a lot of fear, because I had 3 pre-op appointments, all of which included seeing an anesthesiologist, seeing a surgeon, seeing a pharmacist, seeing a dietitian. And the things that they're saying to you are things like, there's a X% chance that you could die during this surgery. This is how the surgery is going to go. This is what we're going to disconnect and what we're going to reconnect. Your surgery should be about 6 hours. I remember, I think the scariest part for me was in my final pre-op appointment, I had to fill out paperwork about what I wanted to do if the surgery went wrong. Do you want to be resuscitated? Who do we contact? Who's your beneficiary? Who are all of these things? And it's kind of like my husband's having surgery too. So it's very, it's interesting. And then I think for me, the other thing about those pre-op appointments was I was becoming very sick leading up to surgery, especially after Egypt. And when I got back, I was starting to retain fluid around my lungs, around my heart, and my abdomen. And they were having like breathing and heart issues. And my doctors are like, we just need you to hold on to surgery because we don't want to have to do emergency dialysis. So just do nothing until surgery.
So can I ask you a question, Shardae, related to the abdomen? So my sister went through a healing from lung cancer. She's deceased now, but I remember her abdomen grew quite large because she was retaining water. Is that what you mean when you talk about, almost looking like you're like a pregnant?
Yeah.
To some degree?
Yeah. Yeah.
How large does your abdomen get when you can tell that you're retaining water in that particular places? Like you mentioned about your knees, you were retaining, getting some water. It wasn't. I don't think you mentioned about your ankles yet, but you said you noticed it in your knees.
Yeah, it hadn't gotten to my ankles, but it looked really large because the rest of me was so small. Like I'd lost weight. I look at pictures pre-surgery and the rest of my body was so small, but my stomach kind of protruded out. So there was definitely a visible difference for sure.
Yeah.
And I think people realize like what your kidneys do. So most people who are on dialysis don't urinate. They don't go to the bathroom. And I was at the point where if I use the bathroom once a day, if I use the bathroom when I woke up in the morning, I was like, okay, I'm good. I can go home. But I could go a full day and not urinate sometimes. And it's so weird now on the other side of it, because I remember having to go to the bathroom at one point. I was like, what is that feeling? I was like, what is this feeling? And it's like, I have to pee. And I was like, oh, wow, that's so crazy. I'm not used to feeling that so often. But, so yeah, so stuff like that.
Yeah, we take it for granted.
What?
Yeah, we take some of the life's normal things within our bodies for granted. And so Emmy, what was that, just the whole conversation with your doctor, what was that like for you, just knowing what the plan was?
Similar. So it was a lot of pre-op appointments, a lot of conversations about what can go wrong and how basically my body was going to shift because it was so used to having two organs. Now it's going to work overtime and overdrive on one organ, and the importance of staying hydrated, which is so hard because, you got to drink at least 3 liters a day. And that's so hard for me.
Yeah,
to
me
do
too.
that. For any liquid, it's hard to do that. So that was a change. And then also, I think last time we talked about how the surgery kind of went a little left because it was supposed to be laparoscopic and it basically ended up doing a C-section. So basically now it's like post-surgery having to recover and your muscles are starting to come back together. Certain things like if you cough too hard, you feel it.
Or if you laugh too hard.
Laugh too hard, you can feel it. You want to go work out, but you can't. So now you're eating, but you can't work out. So you're gaining weight. And I was kind of, so it's, I think the biggest thing was just how your body was going to shift and the importance of taking care of yourself even more now that you have one kidney versus two.
Yeah.
Did they say how long it'll be before you'll be able to work out and get basically back to a normal life?
Well, it was supposed to be 3 months post-surgery, but right now it's probably going to be looking more so at 6, just because they had to do the other incision. If I didn't have the other incision, I can work out right now. But like, I feel good. Like I can't feel like I don't have, like I lost an organ.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think for me, my doctors have consistently been telling me it takes 18 months to feel almost normal. So like to feel like, okay, my body is my body. It can take up to about 18 months to have like consistent normalcy. So.
Wow. I can't really, even though I watched the video, just knowing that your kidney was removed and then one was replaced, and then just to see you up and about in the hospital, and by the way, Shardae was eating up when after the few days, I don't know if it was 2 or 3 days, the little person she said she was, I'm assuming you guys were at Crawford Long or Emory.
But it's also to note for her, they don't remove a kidney.
Oh yeah.
So they put the kidney on top. So technically,
not on top. It's by my pelvis.
She has 3 kidneys in her right now.
What you say?
What?
So for the transplant surgery, they didn't remove my kidneys. Instead, they put the new kidney in down near my pelvis, and they rewired my bladder and my major arteries to the new kidney. So that's why my scar is a lot longer than his scar, because they had to get to a lot more different places. But yeah, they leave the other kidneys in there and they put the new one in. So
man, modern technology, modern medicine. I tell you something.
I wouldn't have known that. But look, the day that Shardae could eat,
She was
You
eating.
would have thought, what's
She's gripping.
a fancy Italian place? Because Shardae, they had given Shardae some broccoli,
Uh-huh.
which looked just okay. But Shardae,
It's the best thing I'd ever had. Okay.
I'm telling you, and that pasta, was that pesto, Alfredo? I don't know what it was, but Shardae got that fork. Shardae was here. And her mom was like, "You eating some Mexican food? Is that I said, no, miss, that's not Mexican food. It's Shardae said, "This ain't no Mexican. This is."
I had to eat for 2 days. I was starving. They had me on a clear liquid diet.
Okay.
And I was like, when can I eat food? And they were like, we just need to wait a little bit longer. And he was eating regular food off the bat. I was like, how do you have food?
Really?
They won't let me eat.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Look, but it was so funny to see not only you eating, but your mom was saying, Shardae, I don't know if that was the mom or the nurse was saying, you got to slow down because your body has not adjusted to, now you got this new organ, how it's going to process it out.
right.
You just think about hunger. That's all you think about.
And you know, for those who don't, I guess, know like how your kidneys and your body works, prior to transplant, like I was barely eating. Like I didn't have an appetite the majority of the time. I drank more than I ate sometimes. So having an appetite was new. It was like I was starving. And to this day, like now, I am always hungry. I remember post-transplant, we went to dinner and I ate all my food. And he was like, what in the world is happening? I've never in my life seen you finish a meal. And now I'm finishing entire meals. So I'm a way more expensive date.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. I mean, the video, just that journey and watching the nurses, and now you guys getting ready to go home. It just seemed like it was so fast, even though I know that countdown would seem like forever. But I felt like I was in the room with you guys, and I felt really emotional because I can only imagine now there's both of you guys and your parents are having to care for both of you.
Yeah.
There's no, and maybe family, friends, but normally you would take care of the other person. What was that like coming home? Now you're together. Whose recovery took the longest?
Hers did.
Yours.
Yeah, I mean, it felt good knowing that we had people to support us. They had created this whole little meal train link where people can donate meals. So we had meals every single day. People were trying to stop by and drop off stuff. So it felt good knowing that we had the love and support from friends and family.
Yeah, my mom was cooking breakfast every day. I think he loved that.
Yeah.
So that was nice. It was hard not being able to like initially like shower on my own or get to the bathroom on my own and stuff like that. It was kind of humbling, but it was my mom. So, it just made me really appreciate her. My mom's been a registered nurse for most of my life. And she also took care of my dad when he was transplanted twice. So this was not her first rodeo, which I appreciated.
Yeah, mom sounded like she worked at the hospital. Like, now lean over now use your hand to pull yourself up.
Yeah, I laughed. I think there's a part in the video where like somebody comes into the room and she's like, we're going to do something. And she said, not before you wash your hands. Like,
that's what moms are for.
That's
what moms are for. They protective.
That was good. So what would you guys say now that it's all over? What have you learned about love?
Man, you go first.
You go first.
My question.
I mean, I think for me, this just shows like a deeper level of love to really lay down your life, because the surgery could have went wrong. It could have went wrong for both of us. Or for one of us. So to lay down your life potentially, while saving someone else's. So I think we've grown since the surgery to a different level that we didn't know we had.
Yeah.
I mean, it does something. It's like when you donate your organ to save your spouse's life, it does something. It changes something in your relationship that you can't really kind of put your finger on.
Yeah.
I think for us, it just It's just we have nothing but positivity looking ahead. It's like now we can really focus on living life because we were so worried about her potentially having to go on dialysis or what that may look like.
Yeah. I think for me, same answer. Like, I just feel like it's a deeper level of love for sure. I think what it's shown me about love, and I hate to be cliche, but when it comes to like relationships, if somebody wanted to, they would. And that, I don't mean being a donor. I just mean like in life, when you love someone, you show up for them. And it may not be giving them an organ, but even thinking back to like dating and, people who don't call, don't text, don't take you out on dates, don't do this, don't do that. And it's kind of like, imagine if I would have ended up with someone like that who claimed that they love me, but love wasn't an action word.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what I've learned, that love is an action word. And, but there's nothing that I can point to in my husband that hasn't shown that he truly loves me. So I think that I feel like it's so funny because this may have happened like maybe a week and a half ago. I was like, you want to feel your kidney? And I think for the first time he like felt it. He was like, oh my God, it's right there. And I was like, that's wild.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's when he says it's something you can't really put your finger on, it's kind of like that. Even to the point where it's like a lot of the things that I do now mirror him post-transplant. Like things that I desire to eat, ways that, I operate and move. It's just weird. I was like, that's so crazy. I was like, I wonder if it would be like that if it was an organ of a person I didn't know, if I would take on some of their characteristics. But yeah.
And I remember one thing you said, Shardae, and I don't know if it was the last broadcast or it was in the YouTube, but you had talked about you remember from when you dated before, and maybe the person didn't call, maybe they didn't do what they were supposed to do, maybe they acted as if they were interested but didn't have the corresponding action. I tell Fuller this all the time, that I'm so grateful that God allowed those relationships not to work out, because I don't know where I would have been had that one decided to do the right thing. And I just, and so when I look at you and Emmett, I'm like, oh my gosh, God saved you for me. He saved you for me.
Yeah.
So that or loves or, that concept that Fuller started when he said Fuller loves Fuller, and if I mistreat Fuller, then I'm mistreating myself. But I'm so glad that Fuller loves Fuller, because Fuller won't treat Fuller wrong.
Yeah. That's so true.
I told Q when we was dating, I said no one could talk to you anyway. They couldn't get you because God had you on layaway. He had you just waiting. He know what was coming down the pipe, so you was on layaway. So that's why the relationship didn't work out.
Oh my goodness. Yes. I love that.
Yes.
And one thing she said to me that was touching to me, she was a widow 9 years. But when we met
10,
at 10, and she said, I call myself helping you and saving you, but you saved me, so we saved each other. Saved each other lives. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And look, you guys have saved each other. My husband saved me. That was a good one. That was a good show and the start to the show. Is there anything that you guys, it's been a year since we chatted, and now we're going to follow up. You got a new baby. Well, not a new baby over there, but you got a baby over there. Is there anything you want to leave the audience with? Just, about who you are, your journey, about you've got your book. I'd almost forgotten about the book you had written, Shardae, and you've done a lot. And so anything you want to share before we wrap up?
I mean, just take your time and finding that person you want to be with, and realize that you don't have to settle, and that you don't have to accept anything less than, because being loved and truly loved is something that can't be traded for, and it's something that can't be bought. So having that person that you can really be your best friend and live life with is like who you should desire.
That's good.
Yeah.
That is good.
I was going to say, I would say When it comes down to, I guess, relationship and marriage advice, I mean, I'm only in year 5, so I don't know if I'm allowed to give any kind of marriage advice at this point. But I feel like knowing God for yourself, knowing the voice of God is the best cheat code there is. I think the only reason that I ended up meeting my husband is because when God was like, walk away from this relationship, leave this city, go to this city, take this job, like different things. If I wouldn't know the voice of God for myself, I would not be in this marriage. You know what I mean? Even down to, times when we were dating, when we first got engaged and people were like, are you sure? Is this really what you want? Et cetera, et cetera. And even for him, you know what I mean? People telling him like, are you sure that's the woman that you want to be with? Like different things. I feel like for us, there was so much outside opposition to our relationship and even initially to our marriage. And if we did not know the voice of God for ourselves, we would have missed out on God's best for us, listening to other people.
Yeah, that's good. Listening to other people. Keep them at your business. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
I want to ask another question.
Yeah.
For a couple that have been married for 5 years, and that seemed to be they're having trouble or marriage issues, what advice would you give them?
I mean, I would say, try to do outside counseling if you can. I would say try to have you a counselor that you can go to, whether it's like having your guys or your girls who can give you positive advice, but also call you on the rug and keep you accountable for your actions. Because so often it's so easy to point the finger that you don't realize what you're doing. Like Pastor always say, no matter what happened, you're gonna show up. Everywhere you go, you're gonna show up. So until you address the issues that's going on in your life, you'll never really be able to move on other issues. And then be intentional. Get back to and being intentional as to why you want to be with this person. To simple things like dating and spending quality time with each other. Even if it has to be on the calendar where you do something every Tuesday night or something.
Yeah.
Those little small things of being intentional, or telling your spouse that you look good, or I was happy to see you today, or I love the food you cooked tonight. This is small things that really make the big difference in relationships, and to not focus on those outside factors, because sometimes you got people who may be hating on your relationship, and they may be feeding you information so they want to see you fail, because misery loves company. So sometimes you got people who just don't have the best interests for your life, and just get back to know that God created marriage for a reason.
Yeah.
And that because it's created by God, Satan's gonna always try to attack it. So block out those things that try to distract you.
I'm gonna add one more thing to what you said.
Yeah.
One of the things, and we talked about this late last night, was when you feel like the fire is going out in your marriage, you have to be intentional about relighting it. And I think that relighting it looks like, for us, when we transitioned out of working together last year, it made our marriage very different. Like, we were used to seeing each other all day, every day. He would bust into my office. I would bust into his office. We would have conversations all throughout the day. With him starting a new job, working super different hours, it took a different version of me as a wife for the season that he was in as a husband. And I think that when you don't assess that, okay, the season has shifted, what does that mean for how I need to show up as a husband or as a wife in this season? Because Shardae as a wife in year 1 is very different than the wife that he needs in year 5.
Yes.
And the fire from year 1 is gone. And if I don't relight it as what he needs in year 5, meaning he desires to be able to come home and have a peaceful house. That didn't really matter before. Did it?
I always matter.
For man, always. For man, always.
But I feel like there are things that, as a wife, he prioritizes more now than he did then. And I think that if you are not paying attention in your marriage and just going with the flow and doing things out of tradition, then you run the risk of missing out on what the new season holds for you. And how you can be stretched and used in that season. So when the fire in your marriage goes out, you have to consistently relight it and figure out what that looks like for you.
That sounds like your guy's been married 20 years. That's some good advice. That's some really good advice at any phase of marriage in your life that you're in. I think it's really good.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah, you're talking about Fuller having been married for 50 years.
Yeah.
For him to say that, that's impressive. I was married for 15 previously, and so people don't get that. They just assume. Shardae, you said it best. Emmett, you said it best. But that one thing you said, how you look and how we loved each other year one is different than how we love each other and move forward in year 5, year 10, year 15. You're going to be a different person, and the love will change.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do to make it better, different? And create the flame, keep the flame going. And we all have to do that on a day-to-day basis. You have to make a decision to do that.
Yeah.
So, one last question. It is 6:40.
We got number time.
You ain't got number time? Look, hold on. Okay. People can leave and we can just keep talking. Huh? But I still notice in the back corner, in the left corner over Emmett's shoulder, your right shoulder, is there a Christmas tree in the making?
Not this year.
No.
Not this year.
Could y'all come grab one of our trees? Okay. So what are the plans for Christmas this year? What did you tell us you were doing?
We're going to the cabins in North Carolina to meet my family. I can't fly just yet due to my transplant. So we're going to drive to Carolina, and then my parents and my brothers are going to drive down from DC. So those are our plans. So we're very excited about it.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
We're not exchanging gifts. We just enjoying each other's company. We just gonna have a good time. That's it.
Hey, you guys already exchanged the greatest gift.
Right.
I think Shardae, what did you say that we didn't hear?
My daddy gonna always, I'm gonna have me a gift, me myself. Okay?
You heard?
Yeah, she good.
And you got your husband. Well, you know what? Thank you guys. It has yet again been an amazing time with the oars, and we get a chance to. I don't know if we feel like y'all just do something to Godfidence. Is this?
Oh, thank you.
The season of love.
Yeah.
And so thank you guys. And if you want to come back anytime, just let us know.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
we'd love to have you guys back.
We would.
We schedule them for every quarter.
Yeah, and then maybe Shardae
Put us on the calendar. Put us on the calendar.
Shardae, maybe you'll teach us some content, how to do creativity, teach your studio audience. That would be lovely if you would come up with those that are really looking to do something different. Like Shardae helped Farrah, my niece, with an idea on cameras and stuff like that. So there's other people that are interested in figuring out how other people are doing it. So we'd love to hear from you.
And we know you guys are included. Go ahead.
So my wife, she's not gonna say anything about it, but a few weeks ago she launched her own clothing line, and so
great.
She's been doing a lot of like hoodies that say like redeemed and healed and etc. So if you can, check it out on her social media. So
what's your social media, Shardae?
Well, I'll give you the website. The website is cmpld.com. The theme of the whole line is compelled, that people would know God for themselves. So teaching people scriptures one verse at a time, essentially. But yeah, and the social media is cmpld.co on Instagram. So
Look,
repeat both of them again.
cmpld.com.
And Shardae, I think, was representing one of her sweatshirts in the hospital. Was that one of yours?
No, that one wasn't mine, but
it was cute.
It definitely sparked some ideas for sure. But yes, Gail just put it in the chat.
Look,
yes,
go Gail.
Thanks, Gail.
Yes, we love that. And so
I made the most of bed rest. I made the most of bed rest and came up with apparel and put out a line. So
that's awesome. You guys are doing it up. We are so blessed to have you guys today. And if you are watching today, share this with someone else and then rewatch the broadcast, because I got so much out of watching the last one. We had so many people watching, you guys. We'll tag you guys if that's okay on your social media. But it was so great catching up with you again. And so we look forward to seeing you guys. You got people saying thank you. Would you guys give Shardae and Emmett some love, some hearts, some hand claps, and of course, baby over here trying to get the music together. Help us get the music together. But we're out of here, you guys. We love you. Have a happy holiday. If we don't see you on Sunday or next week.
Merry Christmas to you guys.
Merry Christmas, you guys. You want to sing us out, Shardae?
What are we singing?
Whatever comes to your heart.
You know I can't sing.
Go ahead, Shardae. What you want to sing?
Have yourself a merry little Christmas.
Look at the camera, don't look at me.
Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight.
Oh, Shardae, you have 1 more minute. Challenges.
A merry little Christmas night.
Good job.
You liked it? You liked it.
Just like over here laughing. She's like, is that Shardae? It's just us. The other folks, they all here. Say hi, Shardae.
Hi.
We love you guys.
Love you guys too.
See you guys later. Y'all take care.
All right, see y'all.